It's live. Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain family? That's how it goes. You know what, Chip? I've discovered one thing. XRP will go up when Bitcoin goes up. It's always been that way. It may always be that way, but XRP goes up when Bitcoin goes up. What do you guys think? Will XRP go up when Bitcoin goes up? Because there was some big news today. Grayscale, big win over who? Gary Gensler. That's right. Gary the
Oh, it was yesterday.
G-Man
It was
Gensler.
yesterday.
It was
Who's
my
keeping track?
today. It was my today was yesterday.
There you go.
Another win over the SEC.
Like,
That is 2. They're 0-2. That's 2 for the good guys, 0 for the bad guys. The bad guy being Gary Gensler. We got a lot of
0.
good stuff to talk about, Chip. They got the big fat 0. That's what
I
they
love
got.
it. Love it.
We
Let's
love it.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Buddy, go ahead and do the thing. What's the thing? You know the thing.
The thing.
Smash
Do the thing.
subscribe and do all that stuff, all that fun stuff, and where you're coming in from and all that stuff. I don't know what happened to my screen. My screen just like blanked out on me for some reason. What the heck is going on here, people? I wanted to pull this up, and already my computer's
Hold up.
having some. Every time you go on StreamYard, you and I were on our. Was it last night or the other night for at least 2 hours?
With no issue.
Not one issue. Not one.
None.
Not
0.
one. It's like you start broadcasting, and look what happens, Jeff. It turns into just complete and utter chaos. I wanted to put this.
We had as much lag as the SEC has wins. 0 lag.
Jeff, knocking it down, man. Knocking it down. How's everybody doing this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are coming in from, or whenever you're watching this? Who knows when you watch it? You might watch it on your way to the gym. You might watch it, listen to it in the gym. Nobody knows for sure.
Boom.
But I do know this. I wanted to throw this up on the screen because it's fun. And but here we go. Jeff talking about what you were just saying there. There you go. Here we go. Man, what is going on?
What is that?
Here it is. So Gary Gensler is on an ultimate roll here. You got one for Ripple, a win for Ripple, a win for Grayscale.
Mm-hmm.
SEC sitting at 0. Also, we could actually, I was thinking, we could also add Custodia Bank in there because that was another big win. This whole
Another one.
It was a win against the government, but again, another win. But there's Gary, he keeps losing. And how many losses can you take before your tail goes between your legs and you just like walk off, Jeff? I mean, I don't know how many it's going to take, but I guess it'll take a few. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to know exactly, but man, this guy, Gary Gensler, he's a loser, baby.
He is that. Hey, so for everybody, Mark just pulled into the yacht club. If you were looking for him, he's going to watch the rest of the show from the Lambo. So why don't you guys tune in? Let us know where you're tuning in from. We know Mark's at the yacht club, hanging out in his Lamborghini, watching
Lambo.
OTC.
Lambo.
And thoughts go out to all those out there in the Bend of Florida where that hurricane hit at a Category 3, almost 4, made landfall. Now it's going up towards South Carolina, Georgia, where it's going to bring a crazy amount of rain. And Johnny 10X is hanging out in Georgia with the rain. So there's going to be a ton of rain up that way. So hang in there.
Yeah.
Go to high ground. Make sure you don't go out when the streets are flooded and the power lines are down. I heard that on the news today.
There you go. Good. I got some feeder bands in here last night that were out walking the dog. Sky turned dark really fast.
Dude, it was
and then
crazy.
all of a sudden wind out of nowhere. And then I'm running, and then all of a sudden the rain. It was insane. And that was just a feeder band. It was insane.
No running with Julius. Julius doesn't run. We walk. We got caught out last week in the rain. We're halfway around the neighborhood. And then my neighbor drove by and he goes, "You need a ride?" I'm like, "No, I'm all right." And then all of a sudden it was just like zero visibility. He pulled around, turned back around, and picked us up.
Yeah, he was like, "You're
But
being nice." Like, "No, I'm cool. Everything's good." And like, "Okay,
I
let's
was like,
go."
"Shh," I was soaked. I was soaked.
I one
It was
time called my wife because I was out walking Maxwell, and all of a sudden torrential downpour. We kind of ducked in behind a scene, like that big entrance to your community, like that big sign. There was like a big tree there. We ducked in there, and she's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Just go out to the street level, and then I'll pop out." But we're just kind of like hiding. I took a picture. I was drenched. Max was like looking at me. It's the funniest picture ever. And we ran to the car, and I was like, it was ridiculous.
Well, at least you weren't in someone's front yard.
You know what happens,
But
Jeff? If you take the umbrella, it doesn't rain. But if you don't
never.
take the umbrella, every
Always.
single time without fail. So what do you end up doing?
Always.
Taking the umbrella, and it doesn't rain, but you have to carry it the whole time. You hate it, and you're like so pissed because you're like, I've been carrying this thing around for 20, 30 minutes. What am I going to do with it? You're like, nah, this guy's fine. Everything's going to be good. Nah, we're good. What happened?
Last summer, we were in Michigan, and I was out walking. It was probably like 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, 5:45. I'm out walking. I hear my Ring doorbell go off. It's just the chime. No one rang it. And I'm like, why is my Ring doorbell at 5:45 in the morning? I look at the Ring doorbell. One of my neighbors is hanging out in the vestibule.
Oh,
Right?
because trying to get off of the rain. Yeah.
Because it was pouring rain. And so I go on the Ring. I'm like, Moshe, what are you doing? What are you doing at my front door? And he goes, whoa. Who goes, whoa, where are you? Where are you? How come you're not coming outside?
That's the best part.
I'm
You
like,
get to
oh,
talk to people, freak
I was
them
like,
out. I can see you.
stop hanging out in front of my door.
All right, let's jump into news here.
All right,
So,
let's do some news.
so big development. If everyone knows XRP Labs, XRPL Labs, Wietse Wins company over there in the Netherlands,
Yep.
but they did something
No,
big,
well.
Jeff. They did something big. And what is that big? Well, they
No.
released, and this is a great tweet here. For 2 years, they collaborated with other entities. They have a track record for building on and supporting the XRPL system. But today, or actually yesterday, or was that Monday? It might have been Monday. Who knows, Jeff? Last show was Sunday.
Can't they come up with
Whatever.
a name that people can pronounce?
Xahau is how it's pronounced. Xahau.
I wouldn't have
So they published the white paper for Xahau. It's an XRP ledger protocol chain. Proud to publish this chain alongside a GateHub, Ally Networks, and Evernode, XRPL, and others. We believe it's the best, fastest, safest way to get hooks. Lightweight smart contracts for the XRP protocol out there. So now we can shortly start building all the things we've envisioned for every life utility powered by the XRP ledger protocol.
Interesting.
This is massive news because it's such a phenomenal development. And everybody's like, XRP, when's it going to go up? Well, you have to start building things and you have to start doing something, right? This is part of this. This is what Wietse Wins, his company's done. It says we'll continue to build the entire XRP ledger ecosystem, and everything we build will be open for the entire ecosystem to benefit from. We believe that multi-chain XRP ledger protocol ecosystem can bring both proven resilience to the XRPL mainnet and endless new possibilities of hooks. Hooks is a weird name.
Hooks is hooks. Yeah, but you can pronounce hooks. You can't pronounce the name of their protocol.
But smart contracts is hooks is smart contracts. So.
But what is this network they?
Yeah, so once Xahau is fully live, the Zum wallet will obviously be updated to support the multi-XRPL protocol networks like XRPL mainnet and Xahau. One step closer to realizing their vision. It's a phenomenal update. Let's see here. Let me do this.
It's huge. You know what? The one thing these guys are doing, they've been pushing the limit of the XRPL right from the beginning. Of their project. We had the tip bot. The XRP tip bot, and now they move on. Look at the Zum wallet. Really, it's a really cool solution. Super easy to use. I like the direction they're moving in to simplify the utility of hooks. Allow for the simplification of smart contracts to come into being. And look at where they're at with not a lot of hype. No airdrops. No tokens, no noise, no pollution. They just are building on their project, which is outstanding.
what's great about Xahau is the
Like
fact that it's a side chain. So one of the things that I've always
Okay.
really admired is the fact that anytime you have software, you have legacy software, and you try to update the software, you go, listen, the XRPL works. There's nothing to mess with. So David Schwartz's vision has always been never to start building this and adding this. Sidechain's the way to go. And the best thing is, disclaimer is this crypto asset white paper not been approved by any competent authority in any member state of the European Union. So you do that because you don't want to get in trouble. And we'll talk about the SEC going after somebody else that just dropped a lot of fear into a lot of communities. The offer of the crypto assets solely responsible for the content. That's the disclaimer, just in case the Euro authority is looking at this. But it's a smart contract sidechain for the XRP ecosystem. It's a fork of the XRP ledger's open source rippled code base, and it embodies all the useful and innovative features of the XRPL, including environmental sustainability tweaks and upgrades. So here are some of the core features. So retains the key features that made the XRP one of the most enduring and popular networks, including the XRP Ledger Consensus Protocol. It was previously called Ripple Protocol Consensus Algorithm. It's decentralized exchange, logic of protecting the ledger against spam and bloat and charging burning fees. The NATO token substitutes recent XLS 20 NFTs for the cleaner, simpler URI tokens. How about that?
That's interesting.
Cleaner and simpler.
I like that.
Hooks for smart contracts built into this. New feature of Xahau is hooks, the smart contract implementation for Rippled. Small pieces, hooks are small pieces of code installed on an account that impose rules for the transactions the account sends or receives before the transactions can be finalized. It also has going to feature a native token and better tokenomics. You're like, well, what does that mean? Well, Xahau is secured by its native token, Xahau XRP. What do you think about that? Currency code is XRP plus. So when you hear XRP plus, they're talking about the Xahau XRP, powered by better tokenomics designed to reward validators. So you think about rewarding validators, this has always been a big thing. So with Bitcoin, you've got miners. What are the miners actually doing? They're validating the transaction, and for doing the validating transaction, they get a small little something, right? And that's why they're mining it, because there's no other reason. If there was no tokenomics and there was no reward, nobody would be mining Bitcoin. And when the price drops super low, it becomes very difficult to mine Bitcoin because tokenomics don't work. They'll make sense. Cost you more than you're actually going to be receiving. So they're going to create the rewards, validators, and support smart contracts. It's got this burn to mint liquidity. As an XRPL sidechain, Xahau will be linked to the XRPL via a one-way burn to mint liquidity portal. Allows users to clone their XRPL account address on Xahau and then burn XRP on mainnet in return for a matching number of Xahau XRP or XRP plus. And then the Genesis hooks.
So are they planning on equating the value of XRP plus? Are they pegging it to the XRP in that case? Because if you can move your XRP plus or your XRP, you burn your XRP in exchange for an XRP plus, is what they're saying.
It's a little bit different than that, because I heard Wietse was like, he was actually, I heard him in a Spaces and he was talking about that. This one sounds like, yeah, you burn all your XRP. There's no really reason to do that. It has that built in, but again, you're cloning your XRP account. So there'll be some more specifics on that. But the Genesis hooks governance games, the Xahau's Genesis account powered by a hook that regulates, amongst other things, the emission of new Xahau XRP, and the hook's governed by a two-tiered governance game with up to 20 independently owned validators as participants. So let's see, there was one other thing I want to see here. And then
there's a lot to this. Think about
there's a
where
lot
they're
more
going.
to this. Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a ton to it. You think about what their objective is and what they're talking about with the side chain, with the hooks, with the smart contract, and compare where we anticipated Flare would be already at this point. And to me, it's slightly different. Looking, it seems like they're looking for a similar kind of outcome to start creating, positive utility of the XRPL smart contracts. we're just seeing kind of the infancy of it. Obviously, you're going to need an asset, like you said, to reward and potentially, create value for the completion, of a smart contract. But it's going to be interesting to see where they're going with this. They're also talking about what was the replacement for the XLS20, and
Yeah, this is
what's
it.
their upgraded?
Yeah, so it says
The
unlike the
Yuri token.
XLS, because right now we're over on XRP.cafe and they are XLS20 NFT
Correct.
protocol, but they say this that standard that was recently introduced, that's where the badass yetis sit. It says which relies on compressing NFTs to on-ledger pages. Xahau will use URI token objects. It's going to be an upgraded, better system. And the URI tokens are short for Uniform Resource Identifier Token, innovative way to represent and manage NFTs, the metadata, the ownership information within Xahau. So each token is a first-class ledger object with a unique address that does not change when the current owner does. So it's actually a better system because remember, they were able to create this from ground zero, where the XLS20 was trying to fit it into an existing ecosystem. With the compressed NFTs. So, I mean, the cool thing is, and this is going to be interesting to see how the exchanges, how this is going to go, right? You have the protocol, but you still have to have people using it, right? You still have to have an exchange to be able to buy that. But I would expect that we'll have to wait and see what XRP, Cafe or on XRP and a lot of the other ones, what they're going to do. But here's the difference. It's lightweight, it's efficient, first on class on ledger objects, can be created, destroyed, transferred, bought, sold, interoperate with hooks. Trading is limited to a single sell offer per token, can be accepted by. So I like this part is interesting too. Interoperate easily with hooks. So imagine how you can expand NFTs into like a smart contract. It'd be pretty interesting to see how that's going to develop, right?
And that's kind of the direction things have to go. We have to see an NFT tied up with a smart contract. I mean, that becomes the finality of it, and that's that becomes your, in theory, the NFT is the certificate completion, of the smart contract, that whatever that might represent, whether it's, real estate holding or a contract or something else, if it is able to embed that NFT into the contract, I don't know, however it's going to be to represent and put it on the blockchain for all time, but then still to be able to transfer. You can then transfer this owned item. Here it is represented with that NFT, and you can start. It's going to be interesting, the direction this can go in. I like this next line, Chip, interoperability. We're all about interoperability. I believe that that's the only way to go. These silos don't work, and we need interoperability, especially when it comes to smart contracts.
Yeah, just want to let you know.
Well, that's good.
Carmichael's here. I just want to let you know that.
Carmichael.
Welcome. Here. Well, also immutability. So the tokens come with the built-in. So Jeff and I are a little more familiar with this. We've been through the pain of like becoming newbie and then figuring all this stuff out. So what's interesting about this is you have that extensible metadata JSON. This is the file that Jeff and I created for every badass Yeti. And this file contains every one of the attributes that's original to that. It also has the link to where that's on the blockchain, where the storage is, IFPS. And it's also backed up to another one. The cool thing about using XRP.cafe is they've got some backup there because there's two places you actually upload. But what they're saying, this provides flexibilities for developers and creators to choose their own preferred storage solutions, such as IPFS, which is what we talked about, or traditional web servers. So it doesn't have to be limited. It can open up a little bit more. Also promotes the interoperability with existing NFT standards and platforms, facilitating the integration with the broader NFT ecosystem. Meaning,
that's important.
If I'm reading that, Jeff, I'm reading that, we're not going to be totally. You look at when Jeff and I, we look at like, okay, we're releasing more NFTs. We're building NFTs. We have another NFT project. We're working on the White Tribe, and we think about this like it's pretty alluring to think about like, hey, do you want to go to OpenSea? Sure, you can be buried with a billion other projects out there, or you can go. How about Ordinals, which is the Bitcoin, their version of NFTs. But Jeff and I are looking at like the garbage doodles you used to create when you're like bored in school, and then somebody took that and developed it, and then they're getting like half a Bitcoin for it. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're like, okay,
it's
okay.
It is insane, you know, but looking at this broader NFT ecosystem, it's really the broader ecosystem. So, you know, think about it from a perspective of what we've just gone through, seeing the SEC going after Ripple and XRP. XRP gets some victory over the SEC. Then they move on to Grayscale. They, you know, and there's a victory over there, a big victory on the ETF front. And then Coinbase, and then Gemini, and each one of those different from the other, each one in its individual silo, but each outcome benefiting the grander ecosystem. That's how I look at the interoperability. Everything benefits and will live or die based on the outcome of the other. You can't just have one. You can't just have the one. You can't just have the one Ethereum ERC20 NFT solution because at some point it becomes pointless. It's just not operating within the rest of the ecosystem. It becomes siloed. This is starting to move things in the direction for mainstream adoption. And that's what it's all about. It's not just about the small ecosystem that exists today. That is what is the total market right now? If we look at crypto, what is it? $1 trillion? Are we there yet? I forget what the number is.
I
forget what the number is. Someone said whatever the number is. Is it $1 billion? Is it $1 million?
Down a lot.
I can't remember where we are. That's so crazy. We should know what that number is. But whatever that is, that's just, you know, infancy. There's so much further room to grow. The only way to get to it is what these guys are working on right now. They're starting to, you know, see it. They're starting to see the growth, which is outstanding. The fact they're doing it on the XRPL, obviously, you know, that's, you know, where they build is really great. Jeb, and this just kind of reminds me of when we go back we're at the what was that Miami thing we went to?
It was the Miami NFT, Jeff. Before we actually had an NFT we didn't actually have the badass Yetis out, but we went to Miami NFT, and it was all basically Ethereum for the most part.
That's all it was. And what were the reactions when we said, oh yeah, we're building this thing and we're going to do it on the XRPL?
I'm like, what? There's only one guy that said positive. He's like, dude, that's how I got into crypto. He's like, I love XRP. You're like, okay, well, you're only one here out of all these billion people in this convention center, but
for the most
but he was
part.
the only one. But yeah, but people had the look. It wasn't not that it was necessarily negative, but it was what, like that, almost like they didn't even know it was a possibility. Wait a minute, there's something other than Ethereum. What?
It was crazy. It was like that too. It was kind of like it was just no recognition that there was anything other than. It's kind of like talking to the Bitcoin maxis except those guys get get angry.
But Jeff, this latest thing with the SEC though, this is like major. Major fear into like NFT creators, right? And Jeff and I were very cautious when we created the Badass Yetis. And people were like, well, Jeff, what kind of utility does it have? And we're like, well, listen, man, there's a lot of things we'd like to do. And again, we released this back in the end of April, right before the ruling came out that XRP is not a security, but that doesn't matter. The point of it is that you can't make outlandish promises about, oh, if you do this and you do that. We just said, hey, right now it doesn't have any utility. The only utility we built into it is that if you were a holder, you got a discount on Badass Yeti coffee. It's not exactly the utility we wanted to offer, but it was like a utility that works and is safe, and there's no promises of are we going to do this? Are we going to build a metaverse? Are we going to build a game? Are we going to do it? Yeah, we'd love to do some of those things, but no, that's not what the Badass Yetis are. Badass Yetis have a cool story, and they will grow and evolve over time, and you got to make sure. But here, this is how proud they are. They put this on their official Twitter. Today we charge Impact Theory LLC 1.1 trillion. 1.1 trillion. With a media and entertainment company located in Los Angeles, we're conducting an unregistered offering of crypto asset securities in the form of purported Jeff NFTs. Impact Theory raised approximately 30 million from hundreds of investors. Okay, purported. Absent of valid exemption offerings of securities in whatever form must be registered. Without registration, investors will entice to try the protections afforded them by the robust disclosure. This is Antonia Apps, director of the SEC's New York regional office, which is a cesspool of dirt and
New York.
filth. Right?
I guess
Nothing good comes out of New York, Jeff, anymore.
not anymore.
It's become a complete cesspool and a hellhole. And so, what do you think Crypto Mom thought about this?
I think she's probably super enthusiastic. She probably loved it. SEC is on point.
Commissioner Hester Peirce, along with Commissioner Mark Ayuda, they talked about this, this enforcement. They said they disagreed with the application of the Howey analysis. So they're in disagreement with that. There's only two of them. What does that tell you? That the three were...
Yeah. Tells me the line's been drawn.
The line's been drawn, yeah. So she says the facts underlying the sentiment are mostly unremarkable. And I like the way she lays this out. Impact Theory sold almost 30 million of NFTs with making loud promises that the NFTs would increase in value. Purchasers of the NFTs shared the excitement. The order quotes one purchaser saying buying a founder's key is like investing in Disney or Call of Duty and YouTube all at once. However, the NFTs were not shares of a company. They didn't generate any type of dividend for the purchasers. Commission charged Impact Theory with engaging in unregistered securities offering on the theory that the NFTs were offered and sold as investment contracts. The settlement does not include fraud charges. Does this sound familiar, Jeff?
Yeah, so this goes. It's a broken record. They keep going to the same argument, and so here they have. So the question is, if they were promoting it that way, were they promoting and saying buy this NFT? It's going to be just like buying stock. It would be just like investing in Disney in the early days or Call of Duty, even though there is no Call of Duty stock. I don't think. I think it was.
That was what purchaser said. That's somebody's thought of what it was, right?
A purchaser and YouTube all at once, and I don't think there were any. You weren't investing in YouTube. So if someone said that, you have to really take that with a little grain of salt there, because there's no Call of Duty stock. There's no YouTube stock. There was Disney stock. I guess you could have invested in that. But what did the company promote it as? Were they selling their NFTs as a raise for their company and saying you are then going to be deserving of whatever percentage of profit? Is the NFT going to increase in value due to our efforts and how we build out this company, and you're going to get dividend returns as a direct result? Did they promote it that way? How exactly did they package it up, and did they sell it? That's going to be the question. Were they selling the NFT as a security? And right now the SEC is not batting too well on that one. Let's see what else she has to say about this.
So she says, look, we understand why the commission was concerned about the NFT sale. And even though we believe strongly that adults should be able to spend their money as they choose, we share our colleagues' worry about the hype that entices people to spend almost $30 million for NFTs, seemingly
a lot of
without
money,
having a clear idea about how they'll use, enjoy, or profit from them. The legitimate concern, however, not a sufficient basis to pull the matter into our jurisdiction. The handful of company and purchaser statements cited in the order are not the kinds of promises that form an investment contract. We do not routinely bring enforcement actions against people that sell watches, paintings, collectibles, along with vague promises to build the brand and thus increase the resale value of these tangible items. This right here, Jeff, is some clear thinking. She's right.
She's spot on.
Mark is right. They're both right. Commissioner Peirce, Commissioner Ayuda. They're. It's like, what are you doing? What is going on here? So even the NFT sales here fit squarely within Howey. Even if they did fit within Howey, the set of facts is one that warrants an enforcement action. The typical cure for registration violation is a rescission offer, which the company already made in the form of repurchase programs. So the company offered to repurchase the NFTs from the primary and secondary market purchasers. December 21, August of 22, it paid out a total of 7.7 million worth of Ether. Presumably, other purchasers could have sold their NFTs back to the company, but because it's the first NFT settlement, the enforcement action raises many difficult questions. And she goes on and on.
Was that part of the settlement?
Yeah, I think it was. I
Were they
mean,
selling them back there? The typical cure for a registration violation is a rescission offer, which a company already made. So they
yeah,
made an offer. So there must have been some sort of a promise up front as to why people were buying those NFTs. Why did they sell so many of them? What was it tied to? But it has nothing to do with. It wouldn't have met the Howey test. Maybe it had something to do with something else. They were buying this that would have some sort of a use, and it didn't have the use that they promised it to have. Therefore, they would have to have a rescission. They would have to, basically buy them back if that was the case. Let's say they were building a game. They said you buy this, you're gonna have access to our game. All of a sudden, they're like, nope, no game. We're not building a game
Thomas,
anymore.
right.
Therefore, the NFTs that you bought no longer have access. They have no utility. We weren't selling them for the art. We weren't selling them for it was just that. Okay, now what? And so this is really interesting because the SEC is stepping into a jurisdiction, into an argument, into a case that they might not belong in.
They don't. Yeah, and she's right on. So NFT tokens not easy to characterize asset class, particularly because
Yep.
they can give the owner a wide range of rights or physical assets, or people experimenting with a lot of different uses of NFTs. Consequently, any attempt to use this enforcement action as precedent is fraught with difficulty. Are there useful ways for the
What they're
commission to
trying to do.
categorize NFTs for purposes of thinking about whether and how security laws, it talks, would the commission were to craft guidance for NFT creators seeking to understand how should the legislative effort construct, like this is all good stuff, but they don't belong here because none of the Howey tests is met here. And what are they going to do? They're going to start chicking out watch owners. You buy a Rolex watch, you buy a special edition. Guess what? It sells above what the actual price was. There's certain, my brother's big time into
Big time.
collectibles, especially what the watches. And, he
Mhm.
might have bought a watch for 15 or 20K, turns around and sells it for 40. What's the SEC going to do? Shake them down? You bought an old baseball card, 15 or 30 years ago, and it's like the card is worth more money now. What are you going to do? Shake down people? Everybody knows that a Michael Jordan rookie card in pristine condition is worth a lot more than it was when you bought a bubblegum pack when the card was part of it. So we're getting to the point of just the overreach and overstep of government regulators is out of control, which is why when the U.S. was formed, it was supposed to be limited government. We need to start getting rid of these agencies. I think we're better off on our own. I almost feel like, well, we need some kind of, do we? I'm wondering if we need any at this point because it's all gone to hell, Jeff. Enforcement by extortion, DNI. What is up?
DNI.
Enforcement by extortion. All these good questions, we're not
Enforcement
going to run through them all.
by
But they're-
extortion. Chip, they are trying to extort the public, and that's exactly what it is. Forget about the enforcement part, but the unelected bureaucrats are trying to extort the public. They want your money, they want your investment, they want your livelihood. They basically want to control your life. They want to determine way too much in this society, and it's gone too far above and beyond. It's penetrated into all aspects of life, whether it's books, school, Hollywood, movies, TV shows, radio programs, news broadcasts, commercials. It's all over. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, they're trying to invade your life and control you. And here we go. We're finally in this space in the digital asset space. We say, you know what? This is where we get some freedoms. And guess where? They come in there and they try to squash our freedoms, even in this beautiful cryptocurrency space. And here's, you're creating these nice NFTs. Now, the thing is, Chip, what really aggravates me about the overreach of the SEC is that there's already laws that regulate fraud. The laws are on the books. Doesn't matter if you're defrauding somebody with an NFT, with fake stock sales, with a pyramid scheme, with whatever, selling them fake product. It's endless, but there's laws against that. There was a claim, I forget what country they were, it might have been over in the UK. They were talking about how many fake watches there are in the marketplace already that people don't even realize how many fake watches there are in the market, Rolexes, etc. But there's laws against that. You sell something fake. This is ridiculous. The same thing with Sam Bankman-Fried with FTX. The guy was, he was defrauding people, and the thing is, he was receiving government backing to defraud people. That was the beauty of it for them. They loved it. They love picking on the lower tier. They want to pick on the little guy. They think they're the upper tier, and the joke is on them in the end.
Yeah. Before we get into the Grayscale win there, I wanted to talk a little
That
bit.
was big. That was.
I saw
massive.
this. Yeah. Well, it is, but I also think too we have to see what happens, because it ain't over yet. It ain't over until it's over. And then here I saw some really interesting commentary, because I feel it's so fitting in a lot of different ways here. Let me just throw this up here. This is a great commentary by Thanasimos, if I'm saying that right. And it's just commentary. It says, want to know why the argument that XRP is a security resonated with people outside of the XRP community and crypto space as a whole? Because they can see how many of you behave and talk about XRP and Ripple. XRP isn't a security, it's a utility token. Well, what do you use it for? Well, Ripple built some great ODL and settlement tech that can use XRP once the banks get on board. Okay, so you're just waiting for Ripple to make it usable. Well, of course not. It can, I can make stuff for it too. Like what? I can buy NFTs. Do you buy NFTs? Not really. I have diamond hands. I don't want to spend my XRP. Anything else? Well, David Schwartz said they're going to add automatic market makers so that people can provide liquidity. You going to do that then? No, because I don't want to incur permanent loss during the 100x moonshot when everybody finally realized that XRP the standard. And when does that happen? When all these banks working with Ripple finally decide to use XRP for ODL. So we're just back to you holding and waiting for Ripple to do something so that institutional money will come in, pumping your speculative investment, making everybody rich while you avoid actually utilizing the token. In the meantime, for fear that you might not make less, if you react fast enough, you don't react fast enough. For the overtime 100x moonshot, does anyone see how self-defeating this is? XRP, along with many other crypto assets, is not a security, but I'll be damned if 90% of you don't treat it like one. And why would anyone want to start using a new financial and monetary infrastructure if the people already involved are afraid to use it? Here's a thought. Over the next few months, buy $100 of XRP, set it aside. Then set aside another $100 in USD. So when the automatic market maker launches, provide that $200 worth of liquidity and sit and watch for the next 5 years. Maybe you'll make some, maybe you'll lose some, but you'll definitely learn something. And I'll do the math of what it looks like for every XRP holder that does that. Sorry, rant over. Jeff, what do you think about this commentary?
It's interesting because it's funny, somewhat. I don't want to say true, but it resonates to an extent, because there's a lot of conversation out there over what Ripple's going to do or isn't going to do. The question as to, there's positive news with Ripple and XRP doesn't move. Well, the reason why XRP doesn't move is because XRP isn't tied to the outcome of what Ripple does or doesn't do. I will say that XRP, like the rest of the market, is tied together. When Bitcoin goes up, XRP is going to go up. Is there a point where the two deviate? I believe that. We can already see XRP is going up and down, Bitcoin's going up and down. But if you ask people why they invested in different assets, because Bitcoin was the number one in the marketplace, they went into Bitcoin, they went into Ethereum, they went into XRP, they went in. Now in the earlier years, there's a whole bunch of other assets they might have found. They might have found XLM a couple years ago. Maybe people got into Dogecoin. People might get into Shiba Inu because of all the talk over the Shibarium and all of that. But at the end of the day, the markets, Chip, my estimation, they are relatively synchronized. The one point with XRP is that it has been suppressed due to the major lawsuit. And it wasn't mainly because they sued Ripple, it's because they came out and they made a claim that XRP was a security. Now, if that isn't enough to put a complete cap on any kind of growth of an asset when you single out one asset. There's thousands of assets out there, and you single out one and make a claim that it's a security in a major lawsuit by the federal government. People are gonna take pause, and they're gonna take notice. Now, once that once that was relatively settled, and the outcome is, well, hey, guess what? XRP is not a security based on Judge Torres, right? So now we know the outcome. We know based on that legal outcome, there's some decision on it. Did XRP move? It moved. XRP went from 50 cents up to about 80 cents, and you know what? It settled back with the market. So yeah, I'm looking at all of this. The market will pay what the market will pay. So if Bitcoin's at 27 right now, that's what people are valuing Bitcoin at, because there's, based on whatever, buy walls, sell walls, all that good stuff. You can look at it all. When money starts coming in, because the broader market starts doing well again, people have money to invest back into digital asset, and maybe people are at a standstill. People aren't buying a lot. People aren't selling a lot. They're just at a flush standstill overall. But once you start seeing momentum, hype, media attention, frenzy, FOMO, all that great stuff, and you see Bitcoin going back up to 30, 40, 50,000, 60,000, there's nothing that's going to hold XRP back from going to wherever it goes. We don't know exactly what that number will be. We saw Ethereum go up. We saw Dogecoin go up to crazy numbers. We've seen all these other assets rising except for XRP because of the lawsuit. So now you take that cap off. So what that guy says, which resonates a little, there's still a lot of people that keep hyper focusing on what Ripple does. But if we want true massive growth within this space, it's coming from institutional investment. You can't have a stock that has big gains without institutional money. There's not enough individual retail investment in a major stock to see massive gains or a big movement. You have penny stocks, and penny stocks can, bring big gains, but they're real dangerous because you have low volume, and that's where you see a lot of retail players in penny stocks. You don't see institutional investors in penny stock, but institutional money, when it comes in, it's going to come in big. You see a lot of the big mainstream financial people starting to talk about it, and they're talking about tens of trillions. We're not talking about a $1.1 trillion market. We're talking about tens of trillions going into this space. There's a lot of development still in the infancy, 10 years into this. The XRPL, look at what Wietse Vin is doing. You think he cares what Ripple is doing? XRPL doesn't matter what they're doing. What Ripple is doing is utilizing a technology, and they'll have ODL, which will have a major impact on the overall market, and that'll attract institutional investment. But that also is a proof case that the XRPL works and allows all these other projects to flourish. The SEC did something that was very detrimental to the space with their lawsuit, and it slowed down growth. That's it, Chip. That's my rant for the week.
Love that rant. It's classic Jeff rant. Gotta go. Gotta let him go. Let him run. He's on a roll. This is a good one.
On a roll.
Oscar said this. He goes, but I don't feel like people know that XRP is not a security. There needs to be a campaign to promote that. Honestly, yeah, it's been so butchered. You're right about that, Oscar. It's been so mismanaged by everybody out there. Like, well, and I was watching a stream a little bit. I caught a little bit. It was already ended, but I watched the stream with John Deaton was on with Ellie Terrett and Charlie Gasparino. And Charlie was like, yeah, but John, don't you think this? And John Deaton was like so good. He's like, well, no, Charlie, because blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but sometimes it's security, sometimes not. You get people who try to compare something to legacy, and then they talked about buying Apple stock, and it's like, well, yeah, that's a security. You're offered a piece of a stock in a company. It's based on their growth, right? So a lot of people are having a really difficult time. Something new comes out, like even AI, right? So AI is a whole different thing. So there's all kinds of different AI. There's AI that you train on large language models that, your chat GPTs, and other sort of variations of that, like Cloud, which is, another great one out there. That takes a lot more tokens. But if you think about, then there's new kind of AI, which is not trained at all. It's like it's trained to come up with a new art style. It's trained to come up, but not based on something else, based on the fact that it's something new. So it's amazing to watch the progression of that. And at some point, people get lost in the legacy conversation. They're like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't look like this. And we always have that legacy look back. The problem, I think,
Good
Jeff,
point.
I think you brought
Yep.
this up a long time ago. The worst thing that can happen to crypto is having a market cap. It's not
Right.
a stock market. It's not the same. But we're like, we need to have something. So people look at it and they're like, oh, look at the market cap. The market cap's this. And look at this. That doesn't define whether a project is
True.
doing something good to solve a problem or not. It's like, so we have all this legacy shit. We're like, we're going to have a market. We're going to have this. And like, we didn't do that next thing, right? So it's the same thing. So just, there's my little rant. But I wanted to throw this up here. The Eleuteria put this out. DC Court of Appeals granted Greyscale's petition for review to convert its GBTC trust into a Bitcoin spot ETF. It's ordered the SEC's order to be vacated. Documents and details to come. And who predicted this? Well, you know who. The hero, John Deaton. John Deaton predicted this. JV tweeted this out back on February 28th. And John Deaton said, I predict the win for Grayscale. When you fight back, the SEC isn't as successful as winning as Gensler and all the others would have you believe. It's just like Stu Alderati recently tweeted out that the SEC has lost 4 out of the last 5 cases before the Supreme Court. And to take matters worse, you got like Blockchain Association talked about crypto's big win. They were talking about it on Squawk Box, on CNBC, talking about this. I love this right here. The federal court ruling in Grayscale's favor in its lawsuit against the SEC. It's a huge loss and embarrassment for the SEC, but it's always a huge loss, Jeff. And then we have Marissa Toshman here. She weighed in on it. This is the best thing I've seen on it. She goes, massive win. Let's dig into why the DC Circuit Court ruled in favor of Grayscale and against the SEC. To sum it up, the court found that the SEC failed to coherently explain why it treated like products unlike. So their argument was flawed. It was flawed. I mean, just so you can write a bunch of gobbledygook and draft 70 pages on a and bring an action against somebody. There's some states that if you bring an action against somebody and you lose, you pay their legal bills because you could just go after people. I had a business and people you get sued for stuff. You spend a lot of money, you win every single time, and you have to put out a lot of money. But there's some states where if you bring an action and you lose, sorry, it makes you think twice if you want to just be sue happy. The SEC's got a lot of protection. John Deaton's gone into that in the past, but to set the stage, Grayscale is not the first to seek approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Others have tried, but they've approved 2 Bitcoin futures ETPs. So since evidence demonstrated that a 99% correlation between spot futures market prices, for this denial to be proper, the SEC must have offered a reasonable and a coherent explanation for the seemingly inconsistent results. Otherwise, they acted arbitrarily and capriciously. In denying the proposals, the SEC found the products were not designed to prevent fraudulent, manipulative acts and practices. What does this mean? Essentially, the size of the market was insufficient to provide fraud. So to remedy this, the SEC requires surveillances and blah, blah, blah. Basically, they made an incoherent argument, and that's it. They lost. But it's not over yet, Jeff. That's the problem. Is like this thing is still going to
just scratching the surface here with all of this. The SEC is not done. 2025 they'll be done. 2024-ish. But for right now, this year, Gary the G-Man and his pals, they have it out because they're doing the bidding of some others. Chip, I want to bring this up because I think this is kind of important to the overall conversation, as we mentioned. If we look at investments back in 1900, all right, so you were talking about, people get so caught up in legacy market caps, and we could look up what the market cap was back in 1900 as far as investment. Where were the heavyweights for industry? You know what the number one heavyweight was? Look at it, like large heavyweight in the US, rail. Half of it in the UK was rail. Can you imagine? Railroad doesn't even factor into investments today. This is 2017. Sorry, this is an old graph, but it's about 5 years old. So 6 years old. But here, about 123 years ago, people were investing in railroads. Could you imagine today, Chip, if people are like, railroads, that's all you can invest in? And that's the market cap. It'll never change. It's all legacy. We'll never leave railroads behind.
My great-grandfather laid a lot of the railroad tracks in New York. As a matter of fact, his company laid those tracks
which is amazing. I mean, trains in general are important. Took a train from England to France. That was great. Took trains in England, took trains in New York City. You take trains wherever, all around the world. Florida, not so much. But as far as an investment, now I think we're going to start seeing some private railroad industry starting to go with the new systems. But it's just interesting to look. If we think about, so we can't be so uh, legacy focused that it had to be a certain way, and if it wasn't that way, it's not good. And I think that's a great point, to make. We don't know where this is going. We don't know what the market cap potential is. And just beginning to see it. AI, what you brought up with AI, is insurmountable. How many times have we sat now over the past couple weeks looking at different AI things, and you plug in text, and like, holy shit, how the hell is that happening? Like, what? Who programmed this? Who came up with this?
Insane.
It's insane. It is
It's
insane.
totally insane and awesome at the same time. And I mean, the funny thing is my X feed got replaced by all AI. So I built an AI list of creators. I built
awesome.
a bunch of different things, and so everything that flows in there is almost all AI now. Almost like, so funny. Why don't why am I doing? I think I'm getting out of crypto, Jeff. I'm just going to go do AI stuff. AI is way more exciting. It's way more awesome. We're going to do an AI show on the chain.
We
AI.
should do it. We should do an AI show. We should do one night of
No,
only AI.
We have 71 people here that don't care about crypto. You think they're going to care about AI? No.
Dude, AI is the best. AI is dominating the world. And look at all the fake media that's out right now about AI. When it was first the hype, people were writing these articles. I asked AI about my girlfriend, and it told me blah, blah, blah. I asked AI what I should do with my wife, and blah, 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 blah. And it has these negative things. I'm like, first of all, AI, I asked AI how much this stock is going to be valued at in 2025. Well, go ahead, ask ChatGPT anything about stock investment. It doesn't return an answer. You can try to trick, you can do all this stuff. You can ask all these stupid things that the media was talking about and writing their stupid articles about. Has nothing to do with the reality of AI.
Yeah, well,
AI
most
is
people are
super impressive.
it is. I mean, I know people in my world, in my universe, that are terrified of AI. They don't want anything to do with it. They're like, AI, I don't want anything. Why would I want to do anything with AI? It's like, no, it's going to steal my job. It's going to steal my life. And it's going to steal everything. It's like, this is the same friend that said, no, I won't get on Facebook because I'll lose my privacy. I'm like, dude, you don't have any privacy now. What are you talking about? It's like they're so worried about, like, I'm going to lose my. Well, Jeff, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to pull this up here, but I used AI to create music. Not only that, but lyrics and music here. Okay, so I wrote this. I tweeted this one out. I X'd it out. I don't know. I posted it on X.
You X'd
So
it.
this is it. And the way this current AI program works right now is you do one bit of it, you do another one, and you join them together, and then it makes it into one. So it's a little bit inconsistent. But this is the one I made about the SEC, Ripple, and Grayscale. So let's listen in.
But Ripple and Greyscale flip the checkmate state. We the people stand tall, won't let that hammer fall. Against the SEC wall, our spirit answers the call. SEC's falling, need tactics quite appalling. Terry's moves are stalling, street voices keep on calling. Regulate with might, but it ain't looking right. Time for G to take flight and let the new era get made.
I'm winning, Jeff. There you go. That's it right there, man. And it's like, so yeah, so the lyrics were crafted with AI. I mean, you have to give it the right inputs, right?
The rhythm.
The music. Yeah, so then it took
voice.
that, it made the voice, it did the music all in one, another AI program. So two AIs leveraging this. And then
Try to dominate with the SEC's heavyweight, but Ripple and Greyscale flip the checkmate state. We the people stand tall, won't let that hammer fall.
I gave it the inputs, and I gave it a lot of input, but I told it to, this big paragraph of input, but I want you to write 4 bars of a rap tune in this style of, so and so, right? And it's amazing just to see the kind of stuff that you can do with AI. That's, I mean, certainly one of them, but I had a lot of fun with that one.
That was awesome,
AI
Chip.
is cool, man.
What was that website that you sent me earlier today?
Oh, what was that? Yeah, I was doing some cool stuff on that.
Ideogram.ai. This one is just,
it's insane, man. It's really good. I mean, it's like we're having so much fun. I don't know if you guys are using AI or not, but it's just great. And basically all the emails I write,
crazy.
I use a different, I'm probably using like 10 different AI, actively using AI stuff, whether it's image to video creation, whether it's text to image, whether it's something like a ChatGPT or Claude. You know, Claude is cool because it has a bigger token set, but it's like 100,000 plus tokens. The bigger universe, you can have it analyze stuff. But I haven't analyzed everything. I'm like, here's the YouTube video. Here's a summary. Give me a summary paragraph and 10 bullet points, takeaways of this speaker. Okay, great. So I don't have to listen to the whole damn thing now. Thanks. It's awesome.
Amazing.
It's awesome,
It's
Jeff.
amazing. Yeah.
You put that up there?
What's that?
You got to add that to the stream.
Yeah, but once
Oh, the little Gary Gensler guy, little I keep losing. I made that in Idiot.
Oh, yeah.
What is it called?
Yep.
It's ex-Googlers made that, but that little guy holding the sign, took me about 15 tries, and Oscar is a pro at Oscar Arneson is a pro at AI as well. But it took me a bunch of tries, but it's all good input equals better.
That's
there you go.
and Jeff from On the Chain podcast.
Interesting. It looks just like us, Jeff.
Looks just like us.
Look at that. That's fantastic. Well, I look a drunk guy there. You just said Chip and picture of Chip and Jeff on the
On the Chain podcast, and that's what he came up with.
Cinematic. Well, Jeff, I mean, we're not
cinematic.
If you put a famous person in there, no, if you substitute Chip and Jeff with like some other, important person,
let's see.
You could put like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
oops, I gotta read
Tom Cruise and on the Chain podcast, and then they'll just put headphones on their head. But it's like
that's so funny.
But yeah. Anyway, we're just having a blast. Hey, is this show real? It's not, Mike Murphy. That's what you just got to figure that out. It's not. None of it's real. None of it's real. It's all.
None of this is real.
Yeah,
we just
singing.
We just make this whole thing in AI and we just let it roll.
We got 2 minutes here. What do you got, Jeff? You got anything to pull up there?
I'm trying to.
Come on, Jeff. Don't let us down. Everyone's counting on you.
Here we go. Dude, this is crazy. It's look at this.
Pretty fast too. It's a lot faster than Midjourney. But it's not quite this. What it does really well, and on Oscar, I don't know if you play with it, but it does text.
That's
really
Arnold
well.
and Tom Cruise.
That's Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise.
But you can't say Arnold. You got to say Schwarzenegger.
I know. Yeah, I know. But it's still.
Tom Cruise looks. That's a scary.
That's crazy. That's insane.
I mean, we know him as Arnold, but they don't.
There's
on surfboards. They got and nailed the Tom Cruise part.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There you have it.
Here we go.
You got to put it in there. Yeah, Oscar says he's playing with it right now. It does graphics.
It's crazy.
And words incredibly well.
It's so fast.
That's the part.
It's the most
super
insane.
fast. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's crazy the direction we're going in. It all started, you think about kind of crypto.
Well, look in Midjourney a year ago, Jeff. You'd say, make me a whatever. It was all like goofy. This is a year later. Now we're doing video.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Here we go. I don't know how that's relevant.
There,
Bitcoin and XRP in a frame. There's Bitcoin. There's no XRP. I guess.
Are you surprised? It's a maxi.
I was going to say. Look at that. Look at
Wait, that's Oscar.
It's crazy.
Is that Oscar?
Oscar. There's Oscar with his Bitcoin.
Oscar, you got your Bitcoin, dude?
Check that out. Dude, that's just
it's still
crazy.
Impressive, though, man.
It's super impressive. Look at this picture that it creates out of thin air. Like, just
Symbols pick.
And
Nobody knows how this works. Nobody gets it.
who can
Oscar
explain
holding his
how
Bitcoin.
this works exactly? There's Oscar and his Bitcoin. Oscar,
Crazy.
that's a big Bitcoin.
That's a massive Bitcoin.
It is.
Oscar
Look at
like
that. That's spot on for Oscar. That's Oscar right there.
Well, we only see the side of his face. We don't really know what he looks like
Right.
head on. So,
But we do a side
But-
view and then
what does if you said like that's what the other view looks like, nobody knows for sure.
nobody knows.
We don't know. But anyway, that's all we got, guys. Really enjoyed hanging with you guys tonight. We mustered 60. We got up to 71 tonight, but
I don't know what's
doesn't
happening.
matter.
YouTube loves us for some reason.
They're
It's
not
crazy.
our
We
friends.
got crushed lately. Crushed. That's all right. We'll get it back. We
Yeah,
are
6 months
coming
ago, we were doing
back
200,
with a
300.
vengeance.
We might just become boring, Jeff. Who
We
knows?
used to have like 200-300 a night. Now it's down to the core group. We love
Yeah.
the core group. Core group are the best because they are
Well,
the
that's why
best
we
and the
limited it.
brightest
Flim
in
flam.
all of YouTube crypto space.
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 And that's all we got, man.
all we
We'll
got.
see you guys on Monday. Also, too, coming up on
Saturday.
Monday night, we have
Oh, big
a
news.
big announcement. We actually have another congressman stepping into
Big
On the
news.
Chain Studios.
Oh my God.
Jeff, you
the
want to
best.
do the announcement?
The big. Let me see if I can I gotta pull something up because it doesn't, it doesn't resonate if we don't have an image. We don't
Well,
have
I will.
man, we got a drum roll. We need something. Come on, is there something good? Here we go.
Just
At
pop
least
it up.
this is a decent picture. This is from the website. Here we go. This is from his website. You guys know him. He's from Florida. We love this guy. He's great. He's going to be with us Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do a special show Monday night. So you guys are going to be with us Saturday morning at 8 a.m. It is Labor Day weekend. Sunday, got to figure this out schedule-wise. And then Monday, we're going to have not the Shermanator, Ray. We're not going to bring the Shermanator on.
No.
That doesn't work. Shermanator doesn't come on the chain. We have none other than Congressman Byron Donalds is going to be with us Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Special night just for the congressman. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Everything's confirmed, locked in on the schedule. And so you guys make sure you save that. Make sure you're here with us. Send that out to your friends. Make sure it's on your calendar. Don't miss it because it's going to be Monday night, 8 p.m.
And it's Monday.
Eastern
It's
Standard
special
Time.
night. So
It's a special night, Monday night. Monday night, whatever day that falls on. I think it falls on September 4th. Actually,
that's all we got, guys.
So,
We will
that's what we got.
see you on the next one. Chip and Jeff.
Next.
Ow. Hang on a second. Ow! There we go.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.